another video. Okay, right here I'm playing black, and as you can see, his queen just placed herself in between my attacking queen and his king there. So I've got a decision to make. What do I do? Well, here's a great move. If you want, pause the video right now and think about what you would do if you were black right here. Okay, now I'm going to tell you what the solution is. The solution is to bring the rook up and attack the king. And if the king takes the rook, then you get the queen. Now, the reason that's a great move is because if he goes here, if I go here, and he says, well, I'm not going to take the rook, I'll just move out of the way. Let's say he moves here. Now the queen can come and take that, and he's in check. So that's a great move. Very cool. Okay, let's go to the next example of things that might help you in your chess game. I'm going to go here. All right, let's see. The rook came down. Let's take that rook back for a second. I want to show you something. This bishop here is aiming at this pawn. And when I see that, I think, well, it's no big deal, because I can just take the bishop. If he takes my pawn, I'll take with my pawn. But he brought his rook down. Now, once he does that, this idea of mine that I'm going to capture the bishop if he takes my pawn, it's not going to work, because look, I got a king right here. And if I move this pawn, it's going to put the king in check, so that's not going to work. So basically, this pawn is not protecting this pawn at that point. So it's just, these are things to pay attention at, to look at. And so, let's go to the next example. All right. Now, right now, it looks like, and it is true, that this pawn is protecting this knight. So if the queen did come down and try to take that knight, I could just take the queen with my pawn. But let's say the bishop comes down. Now, the bishop is attacking this pawn, which means now that this pawn is not really protecting that knight, because if I try to move this pawn, it would be putting me in check from the bishop. So these are things to remember. See, if the queen comes down now and takes this knight, I cannot capture the queen. So that's a free piece for white if I don't do something about it. Let's look at another example. All right, now it looks like if this white pawn right here wanted to take this black pawn, then this black pawn can just take it back. But you really have to pay attention. You see this white bishop over here? He's eyeballing that black rook. So let's say white does take the black pawn. If black takes the white pawn, look what happens. You lose a piece. So these are things you need to look at. All right. Here's another example. You see right now, the white queen is sitting right there and is protected by this pawn. But look at the black bishop eyeballing that queen's space there, except this knight is in the way. So if the black knight were to move, let's say right there and take that, you might say to yourself, wow, I just took a white pawn with my black knight. Now he can come and take my knight. Now I've just lost a knight for one pawn. That's not a good deal. But by taking that pawn, it revealed this hidden attack on the queen. And now the queen is in big trouble. because the queen can't go here because my queen will take. And the queen can't go here because my pawn will take. And so if the queen thinks, well, if I'm going to go, I may as well at least take, whoops, that's what the computer suggested white do. The queen thinks, well, I may as well take this bishop. If I'm gonna go, at least I'm gonna take a piece with me. And this pawn here now cannot take the knight because the knight is going to be used to take the queen. So when the queen came down to get the bishop, whoops, there goes that rook again. When the queen came down to get the bishop, black is in a position to say, well, with which piece do I want to take the queen? Right now my knight is under attack. And if I can get rid of that attack and take the queen, that would be ideal. Because if I said, well, let me take it with this rook, well, now he can take my knight. So these are things to think about. All right, here's another example. Let's see. Let's say that black decides to move here. So in the future, one day he might want to go here or here and have those spots. Whoops. Let me go back on that before I show you that. But look at this. Look at this white bishop here. This white bishop is aiming right at that black knight. Okay, so if I were to take that black pawn, you might say, wow, that was a stupid move because he's just going to take me back and all I've got was a pawn and I lost a knight. But you see, it opened up this attack and now you can take the black knight. And so you've lost a knight, he's lost a knight, but you've gained a pawn in the deal. Let's look at another hidden attack. This is a famous one, especially if you can put the king in check. Now right now the black queen is aiming right here, thinking that if this bishop moves out of the way, the black queen's just going to take that rook and it's going to be a great day for black. But what he did not see was that this bishop can come down and put the king in check, and the king has to do something about it. But then look, this rook is free now to take the queen. All right, let's look at this awesome puzzle here. Now this is white to move, and look at how badly outnumbered the white team is. Black has a rook, a second rook, and a queen, and all that white has is a queen and a knight. But it's white's turn, and there's going to be a lot of forcing moves here. So feel free to pause it as we go to see if you can think of the next move. What's the next best move for white? Pause the video if you need more time to think. Otherwise, here we go. So queen comes up, puts the king in check. If the king moves here, it's going to be over. That would be mate in 2. Okay, so king has to go there. Now what's white going to do? Pause the video if you want to look. Otherwise, here we go. White makes a move. Check. Now the king's in check. He's only got one move because no other black piece can attack that knight. So the king moves here. Okay, so pause it, before each move if you want to look at the screen and think, okay, what's the next move going to be? Okay, the next move for white takes the rook, which also reveals the hidden check on the king. And since nothing can stop the queen, the king has to move out of the way. Okay, now it's white's turn again. What do you think is going to happen? Yep, another check with the knight. King has to move there. Now where's the knight going to go? Remember, the queen is eyeballing that king, so anytime you move the knight, the king is in check again. Now he moves there, king moves back there. Now, what is white going to do? So this is a good place to pause. What is white's best move? Pause now if you need time to think about it. If not, here it comes. White comes in and says check. The king only has one move. Well, actually, the king has you're right, one move, because the king can't take the queen because of this knight right here. So he's got one move, and that's to take with the rook. And then the knight comes into the check. It's called smothered mate. Fascinating. Mate in 7. Well, thank you for watching another video, and look forward to making another one very soon. Take care. Thank you. Bye.